Good morning to my favorite class. I hope everybody is doing well. Today I know I look a little bit different because I have on a robe. Um, and there's a reason why I have on a robe. The story I'm going to read today has something to do with my robe, this marker. See if I can show you the color. Can you see that? I don't know if okay, let me try it this way. The color of this marker, the color of my glasses, and the color of my earring. And everybody in my classroom knows what my favorite color is. Oh, here's another. It's actually a letter from my daughter. And I would get something else. Maybe at the end I will. But I'm going to read you a story about a little boy by the name of Harold. And Harold has a favorite color. And his favorite color is the same as Miss Baxter's favorite color. And what Harold does, he goes on this adventure with his favorite color. And I'm going to read you a story that tells you about this adventure. And you are going to love it. It is called Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. I have always loved this book because I've always loved the color purple. So, here it is. Oh, I have parents sending me messages through Remind. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Let's see if I can, I want to try to make sure you don't get the glare. Oh, beautiful. By Crockett Johnson. I'll read it, then I'll show you the picture. It's pretty long, but I think you'll enjoy it. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. In the moonlight? I want you to look at this picture and tell me if you think Harold should be going for a walk in the moonlight, because we know what time of day that is. There's Harold. Look at him. Do you think he should be going out in the moonlight? I don't, but it makes the story very interesting. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon to walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. So let's look at these pictures. There's Harold. He needed a moon to walk in the moonlight, and he needed a place to walk. He made a long, straight path so he wouldn't get lost. And he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. Mine's a marker. Okay. There's the long path. There is the moonlight. And he is taking his purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on a long straight path. So he left the path for a shortcut across a field. And the moon went with him. There's Harold. He's getting ready to create the path and cut across it. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. There you go. Can you see that? Harold crossed the field and created a forest with one tree. Now we know you can't have a forest with just one tree, but you can when you create your own story. It turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. So there's Harold's apple tree. And he says these are going to be delicious as soon as they get ripe and turn red. Look at him, he's climbing up this tree because he's still trying to create it. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to guard the apples. It was a terribly frightening dragon. Uh-oh, look at that. That's a big dragon too. Look at those big teeth. And the dragon is there to protect the apples. Big teeth, those are scary teeth. It even frightened Harold. He backed away. His hand was holding his purple crayon and it shook. Look at that. He created something so scary that he scared himself. And then over here, he was so afraid that his hand began to shake. I wonder what's going to be next. Suddenly, he realized what was happening. But by then, Harold was over his head and the ocean. Oh my goodness. That shaky hand created an ocean. That looks like water. And over here, by the time he realized it, he was under the water. That isn't good. Let's see how he solves this problem. He came up thinking fast. And in no time, he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. That's how he solved his problem. Look. He was able to get out of the water by creating a boat. He quickly set sail, and the moon sailed along with him. I love this story because Harold is creating what he wants and what he needs. He started off going for a walk and decided to walk into a forest with how many trees? One tree. What kind of tree was that? Do you remember? An apple tree. And why did he create the dragon? Yes, you have it right. He created the dragon to protect the apple tree so the apples could turn what color? You got it, red. Then he got so afraid, his hand shook and he created what did he create, everybody? Yes, he created an ocean. And then he went under the water and had to create a what? Begins with a B. Boat. You got it right. Let's see what Harold does next. After he had sailed long enough, Harold made it to land without much trouble. He stepped ashore on a beach, wondering where he was. I think that's funny. He was wondering where he was. However, he creates it. So he will know. There's the boat. And look at that. He's on shore and he created it. Anybody know what this little thing is? It's called an anchor. And what it does, it will hold the boat onto land so that the boat doesn't fly away. Or not fly away, sail away. Float away is even a better word. Oh. The sandy beach reminded Harold of picnics. And he thought of picnics. And the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch. So he's on the beach, and the beach reminded him of a picnic. So he is creating himself a blanket, and this looks like something that you would use at a picnic. Maybe a plate. Oh! Let's find out what that plate was. There was nothing but pie. But there were all 9 kinds of pie that Harold liked best. I like pie too. Let me show you the picture. Harold likes 9 different types of pie. The types of pie I like sweet potato pie. I like apple pie. Those are basically the 2. Oh, I do like key lime pie. That's very good. Key lime pie is good. So let's find out what happens next. When Harold finished his picnic, there was quite a lot left. He hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. There we go. He had a slice of each one of these pies, these 9 pies. And he didn't want it to go to waste, so he's doing something right here. Can you guess what he might be making? Look at the shape of that. Let's turn the page and find out. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish it up. And he went off to look for a hill to climb to see where he was. This story is so creative. I would not have known that was a moose. And not just a moose, he made a porcupine. So they're going to finish eating the rest of the pie. And he is going to look for a hill, but he's actually going to create a hill so that he can get on top and see where he is. And we know a hill is a type of, can you remember? We learned about different types of these in social studies. Can you remember? It is a landform. Yes, and we know hills and mountains are different because we talked about mountains are this way and hills were around it. Harold knew that the higher he went up, the farther he would be able to see. So he decided to make the hill into a, you got it, a mountain. That was one of our songs. If he went high enough, he thought, he could see the window of his bedroom. So here is started off being a hill, but he wanted to make it a mountain so he could see farther. He was tired, and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. He hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down to the side, he slipped. And there wasn't any other side of the mountain. He was falling in thin air. Oh my goodness. Look at him. He went up to the mountain. The mountain was even higher than the moon. You see that? He looked over and fell into thin air. Oh my goodness, I hope he doesn't get hurt. What is he going to do? But luckily, he kept his wits and his purple crayon. He made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. Look at that. A balloon saved his life. Isn't that something? I know some of us do not like balloons very much. Some of us really love balloons. But for Harold, the balloon was very helpful to him. Uh-oh. Did we learn about this? I wonder who knows about this. And he made a basket under a big balloon, enough to stand in. He had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see his house. He had gone so far away. Look at that. He created a basket. Does anybody know what type of balloon we call these? These are called hot air balloons, where you have the balloon at the top, a basket in the bottom, and people can get in and ride it. But he could not see his house. He had gone so far. The path, the field, the forest, the ocean, the beach. Oh my goodness. Now he's high up in the air. He went to the mountain, fell off, and he had to create a balloon to save his life. So, he made a house with windows. And he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. Look at that house. He created the house and the grass so he could land. I know this is a little bit longer than normal, but I hope you enjoy it. None of the windows was his window. He tried to think where his window ought, let's see. It didn't complete the sentence. He said, these are not the windows to my house. So he started walking. And he wanted to see where his window ought to be. So he made more windows. And he made a big building full of windows. Windows, windows. Look at all these windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's creating his 15th window. That's a big building, and that's a lot of windows. He made lots of buildings full of windows. He made a whole city full of windows. Oh my goodness. Buildings and windows and windows and buildings and buildings and windows and windows and buildings. Wow. But none of the windows was his window. He couldn't think where it might be. So he's looking and looking and searching and looking to find not just any window. He's looking for his bedroom window. He decided to ask a policeman. The policeman pointed the way Harold was going anyway. But Harold thanked him. There's the police officer that he started to make. And look, the police officer is pointing that way. And Harold was like, I was going that way anyway. But he thanked him. And he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in his bed. Then suddenly, Harold remembered. What do you think Harold remembered? He looked at the moon and he thought. He remembered something. What did Harold remember? He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon. It was always right around the moon. So what did Harold do? He said, oh, I can always see the moon from my window. So let me put a window around the moon. And then Harold made his bed. He got in it and he drew up the covers. So he has created his window where the moon, he could always see the moon from his window. Then he started to create his bed and he drew the cover. The purple crayon dropped on the floor and Harold dropped off to sleep. There you go. And that is the end of the story. Now, like I said, I love the color purple and I love this story. But I did something extra this time. I decided that that's such a cool book. Purple's such a cool color, that I would create my own book, Miss Baxter's and the Purple Crayon. Of course, it was a marker that I used, but I just used the same title. And you can too. And what I did was the first cover written and illustrated by Miss Baxter. And the first thing I drew was a cup. The tea in the cup was hot. And you see the smoke coming, and here is my cup. The next one was a kite. I drew a kite. And I said the boy was flying a kite. And over here, I was inspired by my own purple cell phone. I have a purple cover. And it says cell phone. My cell phone is ringing. And it was funny because it was making a noise when I started the story. Then I drew a flower. And I said the flower is blooming. And many of you know Miss Baxter loves to garden. So that's one of the things I drew. The last thing I did was a butterfly. And I said the butterfly is beautiful. So you can, if you would like, create your own story. You get a sheet of paper like this. You fold it in half. And you fold it in half again. Oh, what did I do with my scissors? Oh, they fell on the floor. So I just take my scissors and I make one cut here. Then I open this and I make another cut here. And I open this one. I make another cut here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. I use my stapler. However, if you don't have a stapler, you can use glue, you can use a paper clip, you can even put holes in it and use string to tie your book together. Then I have my front cover. I have this page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I have my back cover. So there's the beginning of my book. There's the end of my story. And you can do the same thing too. So have fun. And I love purple. Harold loves purple. But you may try to create a story that has a totally different color. What's your favorite color? I know Lucas's favorite color is green. I know Douglas likes blue. Not sure Monty's favorite color. Let's see. Trenton likes black. Let's see. Scarlett and Skylar both love pink. I think Skylar likes pink and purple. So, have fun. I hope you enjoyed the story. I know it's longer than what I usually send, but you have an activity that you can enjoy. And I just want you to know that I love you, I miss you, and I look forward to being able to see you again soon. I know some parents have responded that they would love to video chat with me and their child. I know I have been in touch with some people by phone. I did happen to see Douglas when we had a video meeting, and it was so good seeing his face and his smile. So families, thank you. I miss you. I love you. Again, if there's anything that I can do to help you out, if you're having trouble with any of the technology, getting on any of the websites, please let me know. I am here. I'm available. If there are supplies that you don't have that you need, let me know. I have some things at my home. I have pencils and some crayons and markers. So if there's anything that I can do to help you out, I definitely want to do it. So I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to leave some ideas because there are a lot of things in this book. You can have a picnic. You can create a little boat and put some water in a container and see if your boat can float. You can do a boat out of aluminum foil and see if your boat can float. And if you want, you can put pennies in it to see how many pennies would make it sink. There was the monster with the apples. You could make an apple pie. You can make an apple crisp. You can just eat an apple. Remember we made applesauce. You can cut an apple in half and you can get paint and you can make an apple print with some drawings. You can go for a walk because that's how it all started. It started with the walk. You can, if you have balloons, you can blow up a balloon. I like to hit them You can play with a friend or your mom. Try not to have the balloon hit the floor. I love the idea of having an indoor or outdoor picnic. The weather is getting nice. So just because we're in the house doesn't mean we have to be stuck in the house. There are so many wonderful things we can do indoors. So again, I love you. I'll put some of these ideas when I upload. And in honor of Miss Baxter's favorite color, purple, 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 purple. Have fun, enjoy, have a great weekend, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.